So, Adonis, because
Something I forgot before. Το 1982 στους βομβαρδισμούς στο Λίβανο χρησιμοποιήθηκε ως συνήθως η βάση της Σούδας και ερχόταν από εδώ αεροπλάνα, ανεφοδιαζόταν και βομβαρδίζαν στο Λίβανο. Τότε μερικοί χανιώτες εντελώς αυθόρμητα και χωρίς καμιά ιδιαίτερη οργάνωση εντοπίσανε που ήταν το ξενοδοχείο που κατοικούσαν οι πιλότοι αυτών των αεροπλάνων και σπάσανε τα λεωφορεία που τους μεταφέρανε στην Αμερικάνικη βάση.
Hey everybody, this is Laith Marouf from Free Palestine TV, and we are in Chania, another town on the northern coast of the island of Crete in Greece. And we are in the area where the squats for giving housing for those who have been affected by all the changes in prices of living in this city are living. Now, here behind us, there is two squats. One is Britannia and the other one is Rosanera. And beyond visiting these squats, we will be going to the Souda base, NATO base, where the Greek military and the NATO militaries are providing support for the genocide being conducted in Palestine. We will go ahead and tour around that base. Hopefully, we will not be targeted by the military. And we will be speaking to the activists who have mounted demonstrations at the Souda base to try to stop the involvement of the NATO military and the Greek military in the genocide in Palestine. So we'll take you on this tour and we'll discuss more as we talk to the locals.
Souda Bay in Crete. For the first time, the military base is involved in a NATO operation, as a host base since late March. It is housing the air forces of alliance members and partners contributing to Operation Unified Protector.
So, from this side now, it's like the greater area of the airport that I told you it's shared, okay? But we're going to go to the right side now. In the past, the locals were against the NATO base, but after the years went by, things started changing, and this, of course, is related with financial reasons, mainly financial reasons, because people are renting houses, renting cars. They are providing too much money to the local economy. Crete in general, and especially Chania, is one of the richest cities all over Greece.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
When we were driving into Xania, we were like, oh, it's pretty rich. But I didn't really realize it's one of the richest places.
Yes, I would say because of the tourism mainly. Like the construction field is getting bigger and bigger. I mean, you can see everywhere popping up villas and Airbnb's apartments. There is a huge problem for for people to find a house to stay. The locals.
Yeah, housing.
Housing.
Yes, housing
Huge
crisis.
Yes.
And, at Heraclon, they were having problems with housing because also Zionists are coming to buy.
Oh my God, yes.
Is that happening here too?
So here we do have a quite big community. It's in the Coronas Crete area. It's actually the site you will see on the other side of the peninsula. So there we had a big population of mainly people coming from the UK, France, and German. But now there has been a community being established by Zionists, by Israelis.
Wow.
So they have started buying very big plots.
Good.
And they already have started having problems with it. because you know how they behave, right?
Yes.
So now we have started, we are already in the military base area. Down there, it's a base. Cannot really see it from here, we'll see it later. Now we're going towards one of the entrances where the ships, where the big ships start from there.
That's all I do.
So now we have to meet that.
In the base, we're around 1,000 people, and we have around 700 plus from Qatar, France, and Norway.
Here, space is reserved for the 6 fighters from Qatar, their 2 transport helicopters, and the 220 Qataris taking part in the operation. 6 F-16s and 120 Norwegians, 14 French fighters, and more than 200 French personnel are also based at Souda Bay for Unified Protector. Located 400 kilometres from Benghazi in Libya and some 40 minutes from the Libyan coast for the fighters, the Greek base is strategically located for the forces in place.
All this area is the airport. So imagine that we're going from the other side of the airport, which the base is. Now from this side you can see the civilians part. This is the army part, the Greek army.
Yeah.
But it's the same corridors that also the NATO airplanes.
Yeah, this hangars for F-16s, the hangars there.
Right.
Go.
But as you can realize, it's like a huge area.
Yeah. That's
So we are at the cultural center of Chania. There is a movie screening for Palestine. It is actually When I Saw You by Anne Maria Jassir, and that shows you how much the city of Chania is in solidarity with Palestine. And we have with us today a special guest who is going to be explaining to us a lot, Mikhail, who is a student council member at the Crete University. You're also studying electrical engineering.
Yes, that's right.
Which the movement needs for fighting the new imperialism and with all the technologies that we need to compete with. Mikhail, you have a lot of experience working on the campaign against the Souda base. Tell us about some of these activities over the few years that you know about.
I have been in the student movement for the past 3 years, and from the first time 2 years ago that the genocide started happening, we made a big demonstration that played globally on Souda base. The Souda base is very crucial base for NATO in the imperialistic machine, because it basically provides all the needed technology and equipment in order for wars to happen in the Middle East. The Greek government is very complicit with the NATO, with the imperialistic machine. We are not only complicit, but we are actively a cog in the war machine, because it is from our government that the equipments are sent, and it's from our government that all the NATO soldiers that are really working on that machine have everything going for them. For example, there have been many allegations about sexual misconduct from the NATO soldiers, from disturbing and fights here in Chania, and the government is really doing everything that it can to to not, for the solidarity movement for Palestine to not have a word and get heard.
So this problem of American soldiers abusing women wherever they are is very famous. The stories, of course, in Japan and South Korea. But beyond of course, raising the prices of rent because of all these soldiers and that buy or rent places that they're saying, we also saw last week there was a demonstration at the Souda base. Tell us about why did you decide to once more try to do this demonstration and what you hope that you can achieve with these demonstrations?
We did this demonstration, of course, to show solidarity with the people of Palestine. We did this demonstration to show that the illegal occupation of the Palestine earth and is not over. Israeli settlers are still continuing to do what they have done all these years. So we did this demonstration, and we were the student movement in Chania, and really from all Greece was in the demonstration to show that the illegal occupation and the genocide that is happening and was happening all those years is not over, and we're not gonna stop until it is over, and we're gonna force the hand of our government in order to stop it.
There was 3,500 people that showed up at this demonstration, and clearly the communities in Chania and Crete and Greece, led by the new generation of student activists here, want this change. Tell me how getting rid of Souda base will not only lead to helping the Palestinians, but also helping the people of Chania and Crete.
First of all, for social reasons that I mentioned before, and the imperialist agenda and propaganda really has an effect on the people here, because we are basically the people of Chania are also in some way complicit on that, and to start wars from here on other people and other countries might also have a negative effect on you. For example, we saw now what happened with Iran and so on and so forth. Who says that they can't send a rocket that is going to target Souda base? Who says that, for example, you mentioned the rent prices that are going up. This is because of the people that work in this base that are staying here, and the people of Chania don't have a place to stay, and the prices are going up. Everything that is happening here in Chania and in Souda base is basically negative for the people. There hasn't been apart the safety that the government tells us is basically just propaganda.
Mikhail, we hope this new generation of student activists bring the heydays of student activism in Greece back on fire, like in the 1970s. We hope, of course, this new generation that has seen and absorbed all this information will be better than generations before us.
I hope so
and
as well.
I am very, very optimistic knowing you and knowing all the people that I've met here. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you as well.
Okay, see you soon.
It was my pleasure.
Inshallah.
Souda Bay is providing the nations with fuel, electricity, infrastructure. The base also has a medical centre and a rescue helicopter. The Greeks also provide this aircraft with its radar to help with airspace surveillance. Another challenge for Souda Bay base, managing civil aircraft which land and take off from the same runways as the military every day. The control tower must coordinate very dense civil and military traffic. This is NATO Channel reporting from Souda Bay.
So we were lucky enough, as we were waiting at the theater here, to find Adonis Papayanakis, who is one of the old-time activists, militants, anarcho-communist, beekeeper, and photographer who has worked in the movement and documented the fight against the Souda base. Adonis, tell us when the base was built, the beginnings of the community here fighting against the base, how did it start, and some of these important moments in the history of this battle against this NATO base.
Όπως είναι γνωστό, η υπογραφή για να στηθούν εδώ οι αμερικανο-νατοικές βάσεις στη Σούδα μεταξύ Ηνωμένων Πολιτειών, ΝΑΤΟ και ελληνικού κράτους έγινε το 1953. Από τότε σιγά σιγά στο λιμάνι της Σούδας αλλά και σε όλο το ακροτήρι στήσανε ναυτικές και αεροπορικές βάσεις. Με εργάτες από την περιοχή έχουν σκάψει τούνελ πολλών χιλιόμετρων εντός του κόλπου της Σούδας, που το ένα τούνελ φιλοξενεί πυρομαχικά και το άλλο τούνελ φιλοξενεί καύσιμα. Είναι μια κατάσταση κάποιας κατοχής από μια ιμπεριαλιστική δύναμη στο πιο ασφαλές λιμάνι της Μεσογείου. Δεν είναι τυχαίο που το διαλέξανε, που είναι το λιμάνι της Σούδας. Είναι ο τόπος που επί τόσα χρόνια βοηθάει την αιματοχυσία σε όλες τις περιοχές της Ανατολικής Μεσογείου, ως γνωστόν. Η σχέση της κοινωνίας απέναντι σε αυτή τη βάση θα μπορούσα να πω ότι ένα, αν όχι μεγάλο κομμάτι, αλλά σοβαρό κομμάτι, ήταν απέναντι εδώ και πάρα πολλά χρόνια. Από τη δεκαετία του 80 που μπορώ να θυμάμαι εγώ, υπήρχε επιτροπή από την ευρύτερη αριστερά και την αναρχία που λεγόταν Επιτροπή κατά των ξένων βάσεων. Το σύνθημα της εποχής ήταν «Έξω οι βάσεις του θανάτου». Κατά καιρούς διαδηλώσεις γινόταν και γίνονται έξω από τις βάσεις. Χρόνο με το χρόνο οι φράχτες και οι δρόμοι που οδηγούν προς τη βάση φορακίζονται περισσότερο και περισσότερο και περισσότερο. Πλέον είναι πάρα πολύ δύσκολο να προσεγγίσεις τη βάση. Αυτά όσον αφορά την κινηματική δραστηριότητα. Αλλά κάτι το οποίο σημάδεψε πανελλήνια, ίσως και πανευρωπαϊκά, τη Σούδα κινηματικά, ήταν στις 23 του Ιούλη του 1990, όταν υπογράφτηκε τότε η συμφωνία, η νέα συμφωνία, πώς να το πω, διατήρησης και συνέχισης των αμερικανικών βάσεων στη Σούδα. 23 Ιούλη του 1990 λοιπόν, όταν η Επιτροπή κατά των βάσεων πήγαινε ένα ψήφισμα στον τότε νομάρχη, ο νομάρχης αρνήθηκε να πάρει το ψήφισμα, οι λίγοι διαδηλωτές στη σκάλα της νομαρχίας επιδιώξαν να εισβάλλουν μέσα, αυτός κάλεσε τις δυνάμεις καταστολής και τότε σιγά σιγά ξεκίνησε μια παλαϊκή συγκέντρωση πολλών χιλιάδων κατοίκων αυτής της πόλης και της υπαίθρου ενάντια στα ΜΑΤ που είχαν περικυκλώσει το κτίριο της νομαρχίας. Ήταν μια επική κατάσταση που θα τη θυμόμαστε για πάντα, πράγμα σπάνιο σε βάσεις στην υπόλοιπη Ευρώπη και στην υπόλοιπη Ελλάδα τότε. Αυτό είχε αποτέλεσμα να συλληφθούν 28 άτομα και μετά από κάμποσο καιρό να γίνουν οι δίκες και αθωωθήκαν οι περισσότεροι εξ αυτών. Αυτό ήταν το πιο σημαντικό και κέριο κομμάτι που μπορώ να θυμηθώ τη διάρκεια της αντίστασης ενάντια στις βάσεις. Πολλές όμως διαδηλώσεις μπορώ να θυμηθώ, αλλά και αποκλεισμοί δρόμων προς τη βάση, όπως ήταν από τους καιρούς των πολέμων στη Μέση Ανατολή, από το 2003 στο Ιράκ, προηγουμένως στον πόλεμο της Σερβίας, επίσης μεγάλη διαδήλωση μπροστά στη βάση. Δεν μου ήρθε τώρα έτσι στο πόδι στο μυαλό, αλλά αυτό όμως που επίσης πρέπει να πω, ότι τα τελευταία χρόνια έχουμε μια πτώση όσον αφορά τη μαζικότητα απέναντι στις βάσεις. Διότι η κοινωνία γενικώς έχουμε μια εκφυλιστική διάσταση, δεν αντιλαμβάνεται ίσως, ή είναι και άλλοι παράγοντες που την ενοχλούν και δεν είναι τόσο μαζικά τα κινήματα όπως ήταν τα χρόνια εκείνα.
So, Adonis, because
Something I forgot before. Το 1982, στους βομβαρδισμούς στο Λίβανο, χρησιμοποιήθηκε ως συνήθως η βάση της Σούδας και ερχόταν από εδώ αεροπλάνα, ανεφοδιαζόταν και βομβαρδίζαν στο Λίβανο. Τότε μερικοί χανιώτες εντελώς αυθόρμητα και χωρίς καμιά ιδιαίτερη οργάνωση εντοπίσανε που ήταν το ξενοδοχείο που κατοικούσαν οι πιλότοι αυτών των αεροπλάνων και σπάσανε τα λεωφορεία που τους μεταφέρανε στην Αμερικάνικη βάση. Επίσης, μια πολύ σημαντική, πολύ καιρό πριν αρχίσουν οι οργανωμένες αντιδράσεις ενάντια στις βάσεις. Το 1982 στους βομβαρδισμούς στο Λίβανο.
Another question here that comes up to my mind when I hear all this history, and you're worried that this history is going to be forgotten somehow or some of the interest. We look at this new generation of activists, of students that are involved in these demonstrations that just happened against Souda. Do you feel this new generation maybe is going to revive this internationalism and revive the memory of all those who give blood and sweat to end the presence of this base?
Ουσιαστικά δεν νομίζω ότι είναι θέμα γενεών, είναι θέμα συνειδητότητας, είναι θέμα της καθημερινότητας των ανθρώπων. Είναι ζητήματα που ο αντίπαλός μας είναι πολύ πιο ισχυρός και καθημερινά μας πιέζει. Άρα οι συνειδήσεις που σήμερα υπάρχουν ίσως να μην είναι τόσο ισχυρές όσο ήταν τα προηγούμενα χρόνια. Δεν είναι θέμα οι νέες γενιές. Είναι θέμα όλης της κοινωνίας να συνειδητοποιήσει ότι έχει μια μηχανή του πολέμου δίπλα της που λέγεται αμερικανοανατολική βάση της Σούδας.
So, even though we feel that Gaza and the genocide in Gaza has created a new consciousness on this planet, not only in the region here, you don't feel that this could be a push?
You're right. I'm very happy because it's first time in my life who I see, είναι πρώτη φορά στη ζωή μου που είδα τέτοιο μεγάλο κίνημα παγκοσμίως να υπερασπίζεται την αποικιοκρατούμενη Παλαιστίνη. Είναι πραγματικά ένα γεγονός που έχω μείνει με τα μάτια ανοιχτά. Είναι πρωτοφανές αυτό που συμβαίνει σε παγκόσμιο επίπεδο σε σχέση με την αλληλεγγύη προς τον αγωνιζόμενο Παλαιστινιακό λαό. Έχεις απόλυτο δίκιο. Υπάρχει ελπίδα.
One last question.
Yes, please.
Here, people that are watching this, they don't understand, that are not from Chania, that are not Greek, how the liberation of Palestine and the liberation of Greece from NATO and EU are one and the same. As an internationalist that has been working for so long, my message to this generation that is now starting to be conscious, tell them how the liberation of Chania is related to the liberation of Gaza.
Ο αγώνας της Παλαιστίνης μας δείχνει ότι είναι μονόδρομος, έστω και από αυτές τις πάρα πολύ δύσκολες συνθήκες. Από εκεί εμπνεόμαστε εμείς από το καναμπέ μας και αυτοί με χωρίς παπούτσια αντιμετωπίζουν την πιο σκληρή μηχανή της γης που λέγεται NATO, Ηνωμένες Πολιτείες και Ισραήλ. Αν αυτοί λοιπόν οι άνθρωποι έχουν φτάσει σε αυτό το σημείο, εμείς από εδώ τι πρέπει να κάνουμε? Η ελευθερία είναι μια υπόθεση που αφορά όλη την κοινωνία, ειδικά τους καταπιεσμένους. Αν αυτοί δεν συνειδητοποιήσουν τη θέση τους, ότι είναι οι από κάτω και ο εχθρός τους είναι ο από πάνω, τότε δεν κάνουμε τίποτα. Εκεί ελπίζουμε ότι θα έρθει η ώρα που οι αγωνιζόμενοι θα πλησιάνουν και θα εκτρέψουν το υπάρχον.
Thank you very much, Adonis. I wish the best for you and that your foot heals soon.
It's over already.
And we wish liberation for Chania and that the base is gone, Souda, and all these tourists and Israelis that are buying all this land, that also they leave.
Exactly.
And the liberation of Palestine and liberation of Chania and the Greek people is one. Thank you very much for all the work that you did all your life
Thank you.
for the liberation of humanity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Free Palestine.
Free Greece.
Mama.
And that was our report from Chania about the demonstrations against the Souda base. I'm Laith Marouf from Free Palestine TV. Behind the camera is Rabih Ghannam. I ask you to all to go to our website, freepalestine.video, to donate so we can continue bringing this reports to you, and to follow us on all the social media platforms you're watching this on. Until we see you next time, I bid you all a free Palestine, free Greece, and a world free of capitalism, imperialism, and colonialism.